Welcome to the Magical Medicals podcast. I'm your host, Buddy Abrahams.
And I'm Terry Allen.
A show about the moments that changed people's lives forever. Welcome to the Magical Medicals podcast. I'm your host, Buddy Abrahams.
And I'm Terry Allen. And today we have a new special friend that we met recently, actually, and now she's on our podcast. So it's Emily Bauer. So thank you, Emily, for joining us. And Emily is a spirit junkie and a free spirit at that, and also a lot of fairy energy. So thank you for joining with us today, darling. And I'm so glad that we actually got here, even though we met in a Follow Your Heart vegan restaurant.
Yeah.
I think 3 weeks ago, something like that.
I think it was about a month ago, I think. Yeah. I was eating my my pumpkin pancakes, and then I saw you guys next to me with your son, and we just started talking, and we're talking about different vegan restaurants, and
we had a lot in common, so we clicked instantly.
Definitely.
So it was lovely. So I'm really we're really pleased that you could come on here, because it was interesting that day. You know, I always ask my angels, like, for the next person to come on our show, please align us with the right people. And I don't know, it's just organic that we met you.
Yeah.
There was just a very strong connection. So, and when I asked you to come on and share the podcast with you, you said, oh yeah, of course. And I've got some stories, and I thought you would. So here we are.
I think what came as the alignment was because you mentioned the fact on your way to follow your heart.
Yeah.
You were actually asking Jesus for some guidance or something like that.
No, Jesus' face.
Or Jesus' face came
flew
into
in
you.
her face.
Yes.
She was asking for something. Yeah.
I remember, I was driving over to Follow Your Heart, and sometimes, not like every day, but once in a blue moon, sometimes I'll have these visions, like, you know, like psychic visions, whether they're like premonitions, like in a dream or just in person. And when I was closing my eyes, when I was driving, I was at a stoplight, but I saw Jesus's face with like the crown of thorns around him. So I was just really feeling his presence. And
that was lovely. And when you said that, because we felt it, I think it was the night before or something as well.
Correct.
So it's just interesting that you said that.
There was an energy alignment there, definitely.
Really? Wow. And
Yeah.
like a few years back, I had Reiki done by a life coach, like Reiki practitioner. And when she did Reiki on me for like about an hour, she said the whole time she kept feeling Jesus showing up. Like just the whole time, like he was popping up in the reading. So I was like, I'm really connected with, you know, with Jesus. So
That energy, it's lovely.
well, yeah, Christ consciousness.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to give the floor to you. Obviously, we'll join in whenever we feel that, you know, there's a need to do so. But, you know, we don't know your story. That, like everyone else, we like to have it organic, and we like to just let it unfold and be as surprised as the listeners. So it's just more natural for us to share that. So we're going to give the whole floor to you.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit nervous because I've never really done anything like this.
Everybody says they're nervous. It's all right. We love
My
cats.
cat.
Yeah, no problem. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But no, everyone says they're nervous. Even people that have done it loads of times.
Just be natural.
Nervous.
Just be authentic. Just be.
Yeah.
Let it come across. You just flow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry, my cat really wants to be all up in this. She's a little fairy too.
Oh, she's beautiful.
So I guess the story that I wanted to tell about a chapter in my life was many years ago, back when I was in 10th grade in high school. I was actually, I think the injury happened in 9th grade, actually. When I was going to Santa Susana High School. It was a performing arts magnet school in Simi Valley. And I was a ballet dancer, and I was, that's all I wanted in my life. That was my dream, was to become a prima ballerina. So I was taking like a bunch of dance classes outside of high school, and I was also taking ballet in high school at Santa Susana, because that was my PE. I got to do dance, and I was also in
Right.
show choir. Yeah, and it was really fun, and I loved it. It was just my passion. It was my everything, because like my parents gave me a choice. They were like, you can learn an instrument or you can do dance, but you can't do both, because we didn't have the money. So I chose dance, you know. And so I was like I said, dancing every day, 5 days a week, in high school for PE. And then I was going to dance creations, like, and I was on pre-point. So I was getting ready, preparing to be on point shoes. Um, Somewhere in there, I'm not exactly sure how it happened, but I injured my left shoulder, my collarbone. And I was in like severe chronic pain. I don't even know really exactly what, like, I don't remember the moment where it just got injured, but it started hurting really bad. And I told my mom, and we didn't really know what to do at first, but I started having chronic pain in my shoulder. And so like as time went on, like a few months went on, and it was just like, nothing was helping. Like I went to chiropractors, I went to acupuncturists, regular doctors, like nothing was working, nothing was helping. Nobody could figure out what was wrong. Finally, I think it was the chiropractor, his name was Dr. Summers. He was like, oh, you know what? Like he ordered me an MRI and see me. And so I went to go do an MRI, and it was not good what they found. They told my mom that they found a cyst back here in the back of my head. And they also said they found fluid in my spine, in my spinal cord, which is called a syrinx. And I was only 15 years old, and they found this, and I was like sitting in the the doctor's office, and they were like, oh my gosh, like this is really bad. I ended up going to Los Robles Hospital because, the severe back pain, and because of what they found, I was also having really bad headaches and bloody noses. And it was just, like it was all of a sudden, like it was just really, really strange. So the neurosurgeons there, his name was Dr. Varelli or Varela, I can't remember how to pronounce it, but he basically told my mom and dad that we have to do emergency surgery, and we have to, cut her head open, which is like back here, and we have to pop the cyst, drain the cyst, and put a titanium like kind of plate thing back there, where they said like where the cyst was, there was a bone missing.
Right.
And they said they needed to like also, drain the fluid in my spine, the syrinx. And it was just, I was so scared for my life. Like I was a kid, being told like, oh, you need emergency brain surgery, like we're just gonna do it. Like they were telling me like it's life or death, like it's an emergency. And I just remember just being so just in shock, and my family was in shock. Like, and I think this was the first miracle that happened. My stepfather, sorry, the train's going by.
No problem.
My stepfather, Kenny, he was out on a business trip, and he ended up flying back early when I was in the hospital in Los Robles and Thousand Oaks. And he came, and, everyone was there, my mom and my dad and my sisters, like close family members. And he came and he told the doctor, absolutely not. We're not doing emergency surgery on her. Because, here's the thing. They said if they do the surgery, there's, a lot of bad things that could happen. Either I could be a vegetable, or, death is always a probability. Or you just never know, because that's such a risky surgery with, anything with the head and the brain.
Yeah.
So he told them, no, we're not going to do the emergency surgery. And the doctor, Dr. Varelli, my mom, she looked him in the eyes and she asked him, he just had newborn twin babies. And she said, would you do this? Would you rush and do this on your kids, on your baby twin boys, if you were in this situation without getting a second opinion? And he, he just paused for a minute and he didn't say anything. And then he thought about it and he said, you know what? No, I wouldn't. I would get a second opinion. And this is the doctor who's telling my parents, no, we have to do it now. It's urgent. It's urgent. So that was the first miracle. Kenny stepped in, my stepdad.
Yeah.
No way, we're not doing it. Miracle number 2 is I went to UCLA and I went in to see one of the top neurosurgeons. I really don't remember his name because it was so long ago, but all I remember is he was one of the neurosurgeons that separated the Egyptian twins that were stuck together. I don't remember his name though.
No, I don't.
Yeah, but I saw him and they did a second MRI and he said the cyst is benign. We don't need to do surgery. And then they didn't find fluid in my spinal cord, the syrinx, it wasn't there. And we couldn't believe it because it was like going from like, you need emergency surgery, like you're gonna die. And, and I was really, really sick. Like I said, I was having chronic back pain and headaches and bloody noses. And so they said, no, it's okay. Like the cyst is benign. You just need to go and check up on it every, so often, like 6 months or so. And so I still have it. I just checked up on it not that long ago and it's okay. Everything's fine with it. But definitely, God was looking out for me. And I just like, as hard as life is, like, there's definitely a bigger reason why I'm still standing and why I'm still here after, going through all that.
So you were 15 at the age.
Yeah, I was 15.
And how did it make you feel? Because you were going through all these emotions with regards to 1 minute you have to do this operation, the next minute I don't need to do it anymore. So how did this make you feel? I mean, were you questioning the fact in terms of your faith? Did you already had a connection with the universe, with God? Or
so like in this time when I was going through this, like I was in a really, really bad depression.
okay.
And I literally like I didn't want to do anything, like because I was in so much pain all the time. Like I didn't want to hang out with friends. And like high school was really hard for me at the time because like I was very, very quiet and very, very shy because I was in so much pain and like nobody knew or understand like, oh, she's like really sick, like nobody would know. But I had a best friend at the time that like was she was my best friend since I was a baby. And I was lucky that she like was my little like sidekick in high school. Like she stood by my side through a lot of things. Like I don't know if she knew exactly what was going on with me, but once they found out what was wrong with me, then I think she more understood it. But like she was like kind of like my, I guess, like protector, like my guardian angel when I was like going through all that really hard stuff. But honestly, to tell you the truth, when I was going through all that stuff, because of how much pain I was in chronically with my back, the only time I didn't feel in pain was when I went to sleep. So I told my mom I didn't want to live anymore. I wanted to die because it was so excruciating and they couldn't figure out what was wrong. I miraculously healed after a year of being in chronic pain because there was this holistic doctor named Dr. Doucette in Maui, and he has these vitamins called Standard Process. It's like these all organic vitamins that only special licensed doctors can sell. I think I took this vitamin called Boist, Boist, by Standard Process. I don't know what it was, like these magical organic vitamins. I started taking them every day and somehow my back, it healed.
Oh, wow.
The pain went away. I stopped having the headaches. I came out of the depression. The only thing I can say was it was because of the vitamins. I don't know what else. And because of God, like, I don't know.
Were you strongly spiritually connected then? Like, did you pray a lot? I mean, I know it's 15 and we have a completely sometimes different mindset.
I was raised Catholic.
Yeah.
And when I was in like middle school, I got baptized with my friend Lauren. That was my friend that looked out for me when I was going through all that stuff. Like she got baptized in her swimming pool, and they asked if anybody else wanted to be baptized, and I said, I do. And I got baptized right after her. And I remember when they were dunking me in the water, I could feel the Holy Spirit go through me. As you know, when you get dunked under the water and come back up, I definitely felt the Holy Spirit, and I had never felt it. That was the first time I had ever felt it in middle school.
How old are you then?
In middle school,
Yeah.
I think like I want to say 14, maybe, or wait, maybe 13.
13, 14.
So
13,
just before,
14,
really.
yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and did that strengthen your spiritual connection? Because obviously not long afterwards you had this problem, right?
I don't remember in that time being really spiritually connected. I mean, I know I went to church, like I went to a lot of the youth groups. I used to go to like Cornerstone, Church and See Me, and like I used to go to church, but I don't remember being very, like, besides feeling the Holy Spirit and like I had to make my first communion, I don't remember really feeling spiritually connected then, because I think it was just like a very low place in my life where I just kind of felt like very hopeless. Just, yeah, lost and scared. But
So what happened with your dancing? You stopped dancing completely? You
I
continued? What happened?
for the whole, I think a little over a year, I'm trying to think. So that was 10th grade. Was out of dance for probably like a whole year and a half. And then, or wait, maybe I know I started dancing again. I think it was in 12th grade. I started dancing again. I got back to it. And I did, you know, my dance recitals in June. I still dance occasionally. I take like woman empowerment classes. But yeah, but I wish I did ballet because that was my favorite and it's the most beautiful, but it's also the most hardest.
So basically those people had stepped in to divinely help you, really. Those two people, weren't they? Were your friend that said you not to have the surgery, and then you just went on from there.
Yeah. And you know what? And here's the really crazy thing too. So that doctor, Dr. Varela, the neurosurgeon in Westlake, the one that wanted to do the emergency surgery on me. So he operated on my older sister's best friend named Franna. And this was just a couple years later after this all happened to me. A similar situation happened to her where they were like, oh, you have a tumor in your head and you have to take care of it right away or you're going to die. It was like the same kind of storyline. And they were like, you have to do it. You have to do it. And so Franna did the emergency surgery with that neurosurgeon. And she ended up going in a coma for about 6 months. She never came out of it. I went and visited her with my mom and my sister. She ended up getting MRSA in the hospital. And my sister is a musician, songwriter, Prema Love. She ended up writing her this beautiful song called Choir of Angels.
Nice.
It was for Franna, but she ended up passing because, you know, she was in the coma and she never came out of it. So they ended up pulling the plug.
Yeah, bless her. So you were definitely...
You were guided
to...
You were helped.
You were helped, you know, to obviously carry out your mission on this planet, your life purpose. And did you, after that, have you ever felt the divine stepping in any other way for you that helped you? Because that, I mean, obviously that helped you quite bigly not to have the operation. It could have, you know, and then you got all the help that you needed, and then your herbs and, you know, the people surrounded you. It's the people around you, really, didn't it? They're the ones that came with you. But did you ever feel going forward, or with that energy or awareness of that energy, or you know, how did you use that going forward?
So yeah, after that, life, life has its ups and downs and struggles. And so like, I still struggle with some health issues, like even now in my life, like on and off. And I still feel like God guiding me through it, because like, it's not easy, like being young and, having health issues. And I definitely feel like God is still guiding me and protecting me. And I have angels like leading me in the right direction, like, to the right doctors and to the right natural healers, acupuncturists, naturopaths. Like,
And
I
how do
definitely,
you feel that they direct you? How do you feel that they, everybody gets a message in different ways. How do you feel that you interpret their guidance and their presence and stuff?
so one of my doctors that I've been seeing since I was 15 years old, he literally, I started seeing him at 15. I'm 28 now and I still go to him. And he literally is like a dad to me, because like, I don't really have my real father in my life. And he literally is like a dad to me. Like, he does acupuncture, like he gives me natural holistic like herbs like that you make tea with. And it's just, I feel like it's a very like unconditional love, just like it's like a father-daughter relationship. Like, and he has his own kids too. I know that he's just genuine and he really loves and cares about me.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's lovely that you've mentioned his name on here and share the podcast with him.
definitely. Yeah, I'll have to.
Have you ever had any sort of visions or anything, or when you were unwell before, or anything since then, or anything around you that you would like to share with anybody, like anything that's in pain, maybe that has back issues, maybe some people aren't walking or moving
Yeah,
easily. What would your message be for them?
yeah. And that's another thing, because, I know that maybe some of my health issues and my struggles that I go through aren't as bad as other people. Like, I know I have it really good and I have a lot to be grateful for. But at the same time, there's still my health issues and they still affect me like negatively, and they're still my problems. But I just feel like anybody that's struggling with any severe health issues,
Mm.
and whether that's like emotional pain or brokenness, or like anything physical, and just because it's such a hard time in the world right now just to be in general, because of everything what's going on. But I think the message that I have for them is just to not give up, and always keep praying and keep your faith. um, because miracles really are true and they really do happen. And you heard, a little bit of my story, and I mean, I really, really did experience a miracle. And I feel like, and when something like that happens, like it really, really opens your eyes to like, God is real.
Yeah.
Like, how can that just happen? Like, God is real. Like, angels and God were really looking out for me, so if I can have a miracle, so can you. Like I said, you just have to keep the faith. And
do you pass that on to other
open.
people that you meet? Do you pass that on to other people? Do you pass that story on, and your experiences, or because obviously you've been given that gift of help?
Yeah, so it's definitely my testimony. I don't share it with everybody I know. But I feel like when I feel like spirit's telling me like that it's time, that it's safe, or like I feel like somebody needs to hear the story, I'll pass it on.
Yeah.
But like, to tell you the truth, like not a lot of people know that about me. Only people that are really, really close to me know the story. Because I'm kind of like a private, like more like a private like person sometimes. Like I am like a social person, but sometimes about stuff like that I can be kind of private. but yeah,
Do you ever go back and have discussion with your mum about that time when it happened and say, you know what, mum, you know, I'm definitely, we would definitely help at the time when this all happened. Do you ever have that discussion with your mum? Do you ever look back and say, okay,
sorry, come again. Do I ask her what?
do you ever go back to your mum and have a discussion with your mum about what has happened? Because obviously your mum was involved in such a big time, time at the time with regards to what has happened to you. So do you ever go back to her, or does she ever bring it up to say, you know what, this was a real miracle that you're still here with us today? Or she just doesn't bring it up?
She doesn't really bring it up a lot. I think a part of the reason too might be because my stepfather, Kenny, the one that, you know, I feel like he helped save my life.
Yeah.
He passed away about 6 years ago of cancer, and she went through a lot with him being terminally ill and just a lot with his death and everything. So she doesn't really bring it up a lot. But like occasionally I'll bring it up, and like, because I remind her and remind myself how lucky I am to be alive, and like, you know, how I feel like a living miracle because of that story. And recently, not that long ago, I looked up the doctor who almost did that to me and who, you know, did that to my sister's best friend. I looked him up just to see if he was still practicing, and he definitely is still out there. He's still, you know, still a neurosurgeon. And that just, when I saw that, I started crying recently. I looked him up and I saw that he's still, you know, a practicing doctor, and I just started crying because it just brought back all the trauma and the memory for me. And I really hope that, you know, he's gotten better. If he is a doctor and he's trying to save people's lives, like, I really hope that he's gotten better, because and not just doing it for like, you know, the money or like, you know, because, and the crazy thing too is my cousin is a nurse and she worked side by side this doctor before, and she said she would hear him and his partner basically like having like a contest, who has the nicer, more expensive car and who has the bigger, nicer house. Like, she would hear them discussing this like in the operating room. So it's just really kind of sickening to hear, and like, but it just shows you the truth of who that doctor really was. And you know, like I said, I really hope that he's gotten better.
You were really blessed that you were helped and guided into a different pathway.
Really blessed. Yeah.
If you've got any tools that you would like to pass on to anyone, like who's listening, how old are you again, darling?
I'm 28.
Yeah, so, you know, for your age group, what, is there any tools that you'd like to pass on to them that may be looking for some spiritual tools, or maybe they're going through something similar? I love your cat.
Okay, get down.
It's okay.
Sorry. She's
stealing the show.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, I think that a lot of people, not only my age, but just a lot of people globally and in the collective right now are struggling with a lot of things, like whether that may be health issues or anxiety, you know, the loss of losing somebody the past few years, or any physical ailment. I think it's just really important that like we have a sense of community. And
I agree. Yeah.
And also too, that like you were saying, like, have I ever shared my story to anybody? Like, I think it's important that we are more vulnerable with each other and share our stories, because that's what's going to help us heal, you know.
It'll help us heal.
Yeah.
It'll be sharing your conversation. You'll be helping someone else. And at the same time, you know, the whole point of us talking now and doing this podcast is that people to ask for that guidance first, you know, really ask for the guidance. Is this the right path for me? Is this the right decision for me? Is this the right relationship for me, or job for me, or whatever? To really get that clarity from your angels or the divine, or whoever it is that you're praying to, is the most important thing, that people don't lose that connection.
Definitely. And it makes other people feel safe when you share your story and what you've been through, it
Yeah,
makes
that your life isn't just
they-
perfect. What
You're right.
and like they can let their walls down and share what they're going through.
100%, because we've all got them. We've all been there. We've all
Yeah.
been through something.
Definitely.
You know, and I think it's lovely to share that and to for people to, you know, go away with those tools that you can help them to share, to be authentic, to be open about it, you know, to pray for that guidance, ask for that guidance, and but to hear it, you know, to take it on board and to listen to it, because you could have gone either way, really.
Yeah, and that's, you know, and that's actually one of the stories that I do tell to non-believers, people that don't believe in God or are atheist. I do tell my miracle story to them, just, you know, so it can open their eyes, you know. And here's the thing, sometimes when people don't believe in God, or if they don't believe in miracles, it's because they haven't experienced one yet. But I'll tell you what, when somebody's on their deathbed, or they're going to lose somebody that they really love, and they, you know, then they get desperate and then they start praying to God, and then they receive a miracle, then they know, okay, God is real, you know.
I think also that people get miracles every day. It's not like someone
Definitely.
walking on water. I think it's
Yeah.
every day, and I think it's whether you've paid attention to see them or receive them or hear them through
Yeah.
someone else's words or something on the TV or music or
Yeah.
whatever. And I think that's the key, is that we always being helped, and especially at this time that so many people need it, is for them to remind themselves that it is there all the time, it's throughout, and to listen and to feel, and not go with what anyone else wants, go with what you feel is right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And like it is important to remember that just every day is a miracle. Like just waking up in the morning, that's a miracle. Every day is a gift.
It is. You're
Yeah.
right. Every day that we can walk, we can see, we can touch, we can smell, we can eat.
You can breathe.
We can breathe. A lot of
Breathe,
people.
air in our lungs.
So
Yeah.
I think for anyone that's going through anything or not quite sure, is to ask for the clarity on it, and to ask if it's not, then for someone to step in and point them in the right direction, just like you
Yeah.
had someone point you in a completely different direction and you acted upon that. So
Definitely.
I think that's, you know, great. So,
Yeah.
you know, so it's a wonderful story. I think it's great that you told it at this time. It's very prevalent that it's being shared, and yeah, with what's going on and many people, and
Especially young people, you know, there's a lot happening with young people at
Yeah,
this
there
point in
is.
time on this planet.
Yeah.
So anyone that's going through any difficulty, it's like help is always there. The minute you ask for it, it will come and help you. It will intervene. Help is always on. Well, help is always there.
it is always there.
It's always
I agree.
there for
It's
us.
whether we're open to receive it, to see it, to believe it, to be worthy, think you're worthy of it.
Yeah, and I think one thing that I've really learned as I've gotten older too is that prayer is powerful. It's very, very powerful. And when I was going through all that, I had a lot of people praying for me.
It's interesting. We had a girl on, it was Crystal, a few weeks ago, and she'd got cancer and a rare cancer of the face. And it's funny, she healed because a lot of people prayed for her
all over the world.
It was interesting.
beautiful.
Yeah, she said she felt
Yeah.
a healing, and you know, because she didn't think she was going to live, and she said that she had a massive community. Like her mother set up a Facebook page and people praying for her, and she really felt that healing and that connection. So if anyone feels that they need to pray for people, you can set up a Facebook page, you can set up any other platform page that's going on at the minute. I think there's a lot of platforms out there, and to help bring that love and that light and that healing through us into someone else is a really important message. So thank you for that, darling.
Yeah,
we appreciate that you being here and you know, sharing your story with everybody, and yeah, thank you so much.
I appreciate you guys so much. I know why my cat is literally sitting in my lap right now, because you guys have such good energy, and she loves it. She's like attracted to you guys and your energy.
Well, we're cat people. Everybody who's listening and listens to this podcast, whoever knows me, knows that, oh God, it's the crazy cat lady. You know, I'm always with cats. I have a lot of cats. I used to, in Dubai, look after a lot of cats, street cats, took on 11 cats, you know, there was cats. But yeah, you're right, cats do know, don't they?
That's so fun.
Animals do know. Oh, thank you,
I
darling.
love it. Thank you so much. Thank
Well,
you.
Emily, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for coming on with us. Please
Yeah,
feel
thank
free to get in contact with us.
Oh,
Please feel
it's
free to
such
get
a-
in contact with us at the Magic of Miracles podcast. So that's info@themagicofmiraclespodcast.com. That's info@themagicofmiraclespodcast.com. Please feel free to get in contact with us. But thank you so much, Emily, and have an absolutely
Thank you so
beautiful day.
much.
Thank you.
I hope you guys have a beautiful night. Thank you.